This week on Chuckload of Comics, we're celebrating 80 years of the Man of Steel. Plus, is Linda Carter going to be in the new Wonder Woman 2? What? And was that juggernaut we saw in the Deadpool 2 trailer? Find out in about 20 seconds right here. This is Chuckload of Comics Live. Hello and welcome to Chuckload of Comics Live, streaming live here on Facebook. Woo woo, Facebook Live. Mark Zuckerberg gave us the green light and said, go ahead and shoot your show on Facebook Live. For those of you who have never seen the Chuckload of Comics show, we are a weekly comic book show on YouTube. Go to YouTube, search Chuckload of Comics, please. If you're there, click that subscribe button.
That's right.
Join the Chuckload of Comics family. We do nerd news daily as it drops, and we do our weekly comic book show every single Sunday. It's Saturday right now because we're streaming the show live, and if you're watching this on YouTube, check us out on Facebook on Saturdays. We stream the show live.
That's right.
We're going to be answering all of your viewer questions. We're going to be talking about the week in review for movies and comic books. We're going to get into some amazing comic books in about 2 seconds, but first, it's time for a viewer poll question.
Tony Medina in the house. Hey, Tony.
Okay, like we do every single week, we're going to open up a viewer poll question that you can just, leave comments throughout the show. The viewer poll question for this week, with Infinity War, like 4 days away, man. It's finally coming. Infinity War is hitting theaters on Thursday. Here's your question. So before you go see Infinity War, if you could only see one MCU movie, if you could only watch one pre-Infinity War movie, what would that movie be? That's your viewer poll question for the day. Just leave comments throughout the show. We'll be reading your comments live here on Facebook on Chuckload of Comics Live. So
Cody says she loves your radio voice.
Thank you. It's, we try. So that's your viewer poll question. What Infinity War movie would you watch before Infinity War? Which MCU movie? Now, on to comic books. This was such a monumental week for comic books.
Cool.
This week, 80 years ago, the world was introduced to a little character called Superman in a book, Action Comics number 1. 1938. Action Comic number 1 hit the stands, and we are here to celebrate the greatness. The
80th birthday
of
Kal-El.
The significance of Action Comics number 1 cannot be overstated. The book is the reason we're all here. It's the reason there's a $1 trillion industry of movies, the golden age of cinema that we're currently living in. The reason there's a comic book shop on every corner is because of Action Comics number 1. And this week dropped Action Comics issue number 1000. The 1000th comic book of Action Comics. It's amazing that we live in a time
Crazy.
It shows that one book, this book that started as the first ever comic book, the first ever superhero comic book, Action Comics number 1 is now at 1,000 issues. So even if, I know a lot of you people out there maybe don't read comics, but everybody knows who Superman is.
Yeah.
And I implore you, even if you've never read a Superman comic in your life, go down to your store, go online, buy Action Comics issue 1000.
Yep.
Because like I said, even if you've never read a comic book before, or a Superman comic, this book, what it is, it's not a continuing story of the Superman saga. You're not going to be totally lost if you pick up Action Comics 1000.
Correct.
What it is, it's a series of short stories written very lovingly by the greatest comic book artists, the greatest comic book writers working in the industry. Some of the writers who worked on this book, Brian Michael Bendis, Richard Donner, the director of the 1978 Superman, the movie, Jeff Johns, the president and chief creative officer of DC, Tom King,
Crazy.
Scott Snyder, a lot, just the greatest fucking people working in the industry right now,
Yeah.
all wrote little short stories. Loving little short stories. There's about 8 of them in this book. It's just a celebration of Superman. It's a celebration of everything that we all know and love. The book that kicked off an entire generation of amazing comic books.
Right. Like
So
Chuck
pick it
said,
up.
I've never read anything Superman, so I just actually read this morning, and
What'd you think?
awesome. I loved it.
Yeah.
I thought it was great. A couple of stories are hit and miss, but
Yeah.
it's okay. They're really short, and you can just breeze right through them. But I definitely, that last story from Brian Michael Bendis
And Jim Lee.
and Jim Lee, it was awesome, and it's like a lead-in to a 6-issue run that they're going to do on Superman, so hey, I'm hooked now. I'm gonna read that.
That's awesome. Yes, like you just said.
Yeah.
Brian Michael Bendis, a guy who's been working for Marvel for the last 20 years, jumped ship and he went to DC, and he's about to kick off what's going to be a historical run of Superman books over at DC. The last short story in this book is his first. It's the prequel to what's going to be a 6-part series. It's called The Man of Steel, and he's partnering with none other than the greatest freaking illustrator currently working in comics, Mr. Jim Lee. So it's Jim Lee and Brian Michael Bendis. This is a great jumping on point. Again, if you've never read comic books before, this is a great place to start. Go down to your comic book shop, pick up Action Comics number 1000.
1,000.
I can't get over that. They've got some amazing variant covers, like this one over here, this Action Comics War Bonds one. I love this. They got like a dozen variant covers that came out with it. This is the classic cover. So I implore you, go pick it up. If you've ever thought of getting into the comic book world,
Good word.
pick up Action Comics 1000. It's absolutely incredible. Artists, Jim Lee, Clay Mann, John Romita Jr., Walt Simonson, Raphael Albuquerque.
Oh yeah, I love that name. Raphael.
Some of the really cool short stories you should check out. There's one called Of Tomorrow,
Yeah.
which is the which one? That's the Tom King,
Yes.
Clay Mann. Oh my God, it's
So
all
good.
about the world's about to end. It's 1 billion years in the future. The sun is about to engulf the planet Earth, and so Superman goes back to Earth for one more visit to his parents' grave
Yeah.
site. So it's just Superman standing
Super
over
cool.
his parents' grave one last time before the sun engulfs the Earth.
Alan
Oh my
Mundro
God.
says he really likes the cover on the right. That's how he always remembers Superman.
Exactly, the Action Comics.
Yeah.
I love this one. This is
Yeah.
the 1940s cover, I think.
So cool.
Every cover they did was from a different generation, and that's the other thing in this book. Every single short story has a different look to Superman. There's the old 30s
Yeah.
look of Superman and the 40s look of Superman, all the way up until the Brian Michael Bendis one, which is at the very end, which is the current look of Superman.
Yep. Or
So good, so
all-
amazing.
Shoot.
There's one. There's a short story
Drawn
called.
by Jim Lee.
There's a short story called The Car, which was actually written by Jeff Johns and Richard Donner. Like I said before, Richard
Yeah.
Donner, the director of the original Superman movie, Superman the movie from 1978, he teamed up with Jeff Johns, who's the president of DC, and they wrote a really amazing short story. It's called The Car. If you remember the cover for Action Comics number 1, it's an iconic cover of Superman holding up a big green car and he's smashing it, and the front end is all fucked up. The story, The Car, is about the guy who owns that car, and he's taking it to the auto body shop, and he's trying to explain to the guys at the shop
What happened?
how his car got fucked up, and he's like, no, it was a guy, and they're like, yeah, whatever, drunkie.
Guy, yeah.
And I won't spoil all these stories for you, but pick up Action Comics number 1000. It's absolutely
great.
incredible. So that's our by far our comic book pick of the week, of
Welcome,
the
Lindsay
year,
Cole.
of the month. Hey, Lindsay Cole in the house. Thanks again for joining us, guys, here on the Facebook live stream. If you've never been to Chuckload of Comics, I'm going to keep saying this throughout the day. Visit us on YouTube, Chuckload of Comics. Please click that subscribe button. Join the Chuckload of Comics family. We do this every single week, and I love that we're doing it live now. We get to answer your questions. We get to talk about your comments. Shauna is furiously trying to keep up with all of your comments. There's a lot of them coming
Lindsay
in.
says, "What's up, cuz?"
All right, Lindsay, we're going to see you in Tallahassee in just a few weeks.
Shortly.
I'm gonna take a sip of my apple
Water?
juice here. All right, so on to one of my favorite segments of the week. We all love movies, so we have a little segment here on the show called Sunday Morning Movie Talk.
Movie talk.
What a massive week in movie
know,
news,
it's kinda
and we're
crazy.
actually going to try to not talk about Infinity War as much as we could talk for the next half hour about Infinity War. Oh, by the way, that brings us back to our viewer poll question.
Yeah.
For those of you just joining us, we have a viewer poll question. Before Infinity War, if you could only watch one MCU movie, which would it be? Leave the comments. Shauna's going to try to read them.
Nobody's left any answers yet.
That's okay. That's okay. So answers to the viewer poll question. We'll read them at the end of the show. Sunday morning movie talk. Okay, what we're going to do, we're going to read off some of the headlines of all the movie news that came out this week, and there was a lot. So kicking things off, like I said in the intro video, Deadpool 2 trailer. The 2 frames of a
Oh my
trailer that
gosh.
shock the nerdy world was
So crazy.
Colossus laying a freaking cross, a right cross, right into something that looks very much like the helmet of the Juggernaut.
And the cool thing is it's huge. It's
Yeah.
not like this normal sized guy that you saw in X-Men.
X3.
Yeah.
And
all the Fox franchise movies.
Will
It's
Juggernaut
giant
be in
head.
the Deadpool 2 trailer? Again, we're going to read off all the headlines. You tell us which ones you want us to talk about. Linda Carter is in talks for not a cameo, but maybe a major role in the upcoming Wonder Woman
That
2
would be so cool.
movie. What role would she take? Who knows? Dark Phoenix. Fox announced that. Well, Fox didn't announce. Dark Phoenix is going to be the last X-Men movie in the Fox-owned Marvel movie.
Supposedly, that's what we heard.
They said their last
kinda
Marvel
a leak.
movie is going to be the Dark Phoenix saga, which comes out in February of 2019. Terminator 2019. Tim Miller, James Cameron. If you didn't know, they're making a new Terminator movie. It's actually going to take place just after Terminator 2. They cast their first actual Terminator. It's going to be Gabriel Luna. If you guys watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., you know Ghost Rider is played by Gabriel Luna. He's going to be a Terminator in the Terminator 2019. Mad Max Fury Road.
Oh, no.
Who didn't love Mad Max Fury Road, and who wasn't looking forward to Mad Max Fury Road 2? Well, Fury Road 2 might not be happening because of a lawsuit between George Miller and Warner Brothers.
Ay, ay, ay.
We'll get into that in a little bit. And, of course, the trailers that dropped this week. Massive trailers.
Yeah.
This week, Deadpool 2, which we mentioned before.
Final trailer.
Final trailer for Deadpool 2.
Named the final trailer.
Final trailer for Jurassic World 2.
Interesting.
Totally plot twist of a trailer right there if you guys haven't checked that out. And, of course, Hotel... What is it called? Artemis.
Artemis?
Hotel Artemis.
Never heard of it until
It's a
recently.
really awesome trailer. You should check it out. Think John Wick Continental Hotel, but instead of a hotel, it's going to be a hospital of people that only patch up
That sounds awesome.
assassins. Check out that. So, Shauna, there's your list of movie news for the week. What jumps out at you?
Well, a lot of it is so interesting, and I want to talk about all of it. But the one that kind of gives me like lots of questions and anxiety is the Fox and the
Dark
leaked
Phoenix
news of
final
Dark
movie?
Phoenix being the final movie because they have New Mutants. New
Right.
Mutants is already done and in the can, and
Yeah.
the New Mutants release date got pushed back to beyond
Yeah.
the Dark Phoenix. So when they're saying Dark Phoenix is the last movie, does that mean we don't get New Mutants? This cool, scary,
I know.
cool movie?
We
that
might
they were
not. Dark
gonna-
Phoenix could wind up being in. It might just be dumped to Netflix.
Or-
So for these, of you-
Real quick though,
Yeah.
or do they mean the Dark Phoenix is gonna be the last movie filmed? Because
Yeah.
technically
It's already
New
in the
Mutants
can.
was already filmed. So I don't know. I'm curious. I don't understand.
so a
what's
little bit of
happening.
backstory on how that story came to be. There was a guy named Brent Andrew. Nobody knows who Brent Andrew is. He's just a guy. Well, Brent Andrew attended a Fox speaking engagement this week, and he left that Fox speaking engagement and he went immediately to Twitter and just started tweeting all the stuff that he heard at this very private Fox speaking engagement. Some of the things that he heard, they said that Dark Phoenix will be the last proper Fox Marvel movie. They said Dark Phoenix is going to be the last movie that's going to continue that X-Men continuity. He said that X-Men integration into the MCU is already a done deal.
Wow.
That's really big. So Marvel's they've already sealed plans to
Crazy.
transfer all the characters over to Marvel. And finally, that Kevin Feige is, quote, hoovering up all the Fox Marvel characters,
What does that
and he's
mean?
going to use them in Marvel Phase 4.
So did this guy get like tackled by security within a couple minutes? Because this
I don't
is
know.
like a big no-no.
He
right?
tweeted all that stuff this week, and then no one's heard from him since. They might have killed him.
They might-
Poor Brent Andrew might be dead. They also,
Alejandro real quick says that Terminator better be good because that's a lot of time to research and get it right.
that's interesting. We're going to talk about Terminator in just a second. Let's get to the Dark Phoenix thing. They also said that the studio is, and I hate this part. I hate this story. It pisses me off. The studio is upset that Simon Kinberg didn't plan for this eventuality.
How could
Hence, like they said, like Shauna was saying, they moved the release date because they said they had to reshoot the entire third act. They said it was just that we could have made it better. I think it's because they now have to reshoot the third act so they can
Right.
wrap it up.
Oh no.
They were planning for more sequels. They're like, nope, we can't end with the Simon Kinberg ending. So we got to go back in there and we got to reshoot a whole ending. We got to wrap this up. That kind of sucks because Simon Kinberg, a man who's been a screenwriter and a producer in every single X-Men movie since the very first X1. He's finally getting his theatrical directorial debut. This is his coming out party. And what a crappy coming out party, because now it's all fallen to shit around him, and the studio's kind of blaming him, saying, oh, Simon Kinberg, you should have planned for this. Now we got to pay all this money for reshoots. It's like, you know what? Well, maybe you didn't keep me in the loop.
Right. How do you plan for a takeover? Like, how
Yeah.
do you plan for Disney to come buy you out? I wish Disney would come buy us out.
Yeah. Let's talk really quick about Alejandro's point about Terminator 2019. That's not what it's called, but it comes out in 2019, in July 2019. Tim Miller, the director of the first Deadpool movie, has partnered with James Cameron to make what we hope. This is their last shot at making a good Terminator sequel. And what they're doing, they're retconning everything that happened after Terminator 2. All that stuff never happened in the eyes of the movie. So this movie's going to take place after the events of Terminator 2.
Cool.
They've got Linda Hamilton already signed on. She's going to be in it. Like we said, Gabriel Luna, who plays Ghost Rider in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., he's been signed on to be a Terminator. Hopefully it's good. James Cameron has not only given his blessing, he's actually involved in the production of it.
Cool.
So that's nice, because he hasn't really been super involved in the production of Terminator movies since Terminator 2. He always says, oh, it's great, and then always winds up sucking. Everything after Terminator 2 sucked,
Thanks,
right?
James
I mean,
Cameron.
am I right?
Yeah, of course it did.
And Tim Miller directing it. Come on.
Yeah.
Who doesn't love the first Deadpool movie? Tim Miller, fantastic director. James Cramen, also a fantastic director and wonderful producer.
James Cramen.
James Johnson. So yeah, look for it's coming out in July 2019.
Too cool.
What else we got? Anything else really caught your eye in the
trail? Okay, so Hotel Artemis looks and sounds awesome. But what blew my mind is that Jodie Foster is starring in this movie. The same Jodie Foster that crapped on superhero action bad, movies, saying that they're ruining Hollywood.
Exactly. If you're unfamiliar with that story, Jodie Foster said a couple months ago that going to the movies, she hates superhero movies because they've turned the act of going to the movies into like going to an amusement park. She's taken all the art out of the craft. But it's a wonderful cast, Hotel Artemis. If you haven't seen the trailer, go check it out. It's got Jodie Foster, Dave Bautista is going to be in there, Jeff Goldblum,
yes,
Sterling K. Brown, Charlie Day.
This cast sounds amazing.
It's an amazing
Jodie
cast.
Foster. Ever since she came out with that statement, I've just cut her out. I don't care for Jodie Foster.
Maybe now
anymore.
she's seeing the light.
Oh goodness, Jodie.
But yeah, check out that trailer, man. Sterling K. Brown, from the O.J. Simpson. He played. Who was the lawyer in O.J. Simpson? It was shit. Help me out here, people. Anyway, the guy with the defense, the guy who was working with Marcia Clark.
Diane Pierce says,
"Oh my
enjoying
God,
the show.
Miss P,
Thank you.
welcome to the show, Miss P. Miss P, we got a question for you. Our viewer poll question: before you see Infinity War, what's the one MCU movie you think is a must-watch? Leave us a comment, people." So yeah, and of course, let's talk really quickly about. Well, we already did talk about the Deadpool 2 trailer, the Jurassic World 2 trailer. Who saw it? I don't want to talk about that. I'm not super jazzed about Jurassic World 2.
Well,
Essentially, what happens in the trailer, I'll give you the Cliff Notes of the trailer. Up till now, basically, the plot that's been revealed to us is just that the island's about to blow up and they got to go rescue the dinosaurs, right? Well, in this trailer, what you see is that's like the first act. What's actually going on is these government agencies are trying to rescue these dinosaurs so they can use them, sell them to rich people as, so they can train them, so they can use them for the military. It seems really stupid. I don't know. I'm not too jazzed about the Jurassic World 2 movie.
Well, we didn't like Jurassic World to begin with, so that's also probably why we're not too jazzed. Antonio Medina just gave us a beer emoji, so
All
cheers
right,
to
thanks,
you.
Antonio. Appreciate it. There's so much I want to talk about with the movies. Linda Carter, Wonder Woman,
Christine Nelson.
Hello, Christine Nelson.
We'll see ya.
Let's talk really quick about the Linda Carter thing.
Okay.
Big movie news. Linda Carter, as you know, was the original Wonder Woman.
As you know.
In the 1970s TV show entitled Wonder Woman. Linda Carter wants to be in Wonder Woman 2 in the film, and I say, hell yeah.
Absolutely.
She deserves it. She was carrying the whip for that character for the longest time.
Literally. And she's still gorgeous. Like, she could...
Yeah.
I don't understand why they didn't cast her as the mom to begin
Right.
with. Like,
Yeah.
why not? I mean, geez,
Well, that begs the
would've
question.
been perfect.
Question over to you, Shauna, and to all you people watching on Facebook Live. What role do you see Linda Carter playing in the upcoming Wonder Woman 2? Shauna?
I don't know. I mean, ideally, I probably would have loved her to have been like the Robin Wright Penn.
Yeah, the general.
Robin Wright, sorry, the character, but maybe she could be another role model.
That would be
I don't
awesome to
know.
see her as
Diana,
a.
I want her to be an Amazonian. I want
do?
her to be, yeah, definitely.
As-
Or maybe she could be the Earth like American version
be a military
of her.
person. Somebody who works for the Air Force, because
Yeah.
the next one they've already said takes place during the Cold War. So she could be that woman wearing a uniform. What do you got over there?
Dan
Somebody
Pierce
just jump
says, "Hell yeah, bring back Linda."
Yes,
And
bring her
Christine,
back.
we love you too.
Bring
and
back
we'll
Linda
get you an
Carter.
autograph and we get to talk.
Make her either someone living on Themyscira, make her an Amazonian,
Mm-hmm.
or just put her in her classic TV show Air Force uniform.
That
Let her
would
be
be
let her be a
cool.
military thing,
That
because
would
then you
be
can
awesome.
actually give her a good speaking
Yeah.
role.
And then she could be Diana's mentor
Yes.
on Earth.
Yes.
I kind of like that idea. That could be
She
a
would
good one.
fit in like
Yeah.
a glove.
Andy
Another
says,
O.J. Simpson
"Sup,
reference.
playas?"
What's up, Andy? Welcome to the live stream. Andy, we got a question for you. Our viewer poll question today: if you could only watch one MCU movie before Infinity War, which one would it be? Discuss.
Discuss. Nobody's commenting.
That's
on
okay.
our viewer
That's okay.
poll. Can I tell you what my movie would be?
What would your movie be?
Guardians of the Galaxy 1.
Yeah, because it's the first time we see Thanos in a speaking role.
And
The
it's the first
collector
time, yep, you see the
explains
collector.
the history of all the Infinity Stones. We're sure if you're watching the show, you've probably already seen Guardians of the Galaxy. And if you haven't, what the hell are you doing? It's probably my favorite MCU movie to this point. Guardians of the Galaxy
Pretty awesome.
1. Watch it. It's a loving film. It's
Mm-hmm.
the little movie that nobody really thought they wanted, but wound up just sending shockwaves. It's what
Yeah.
launched the MCU into the interstellar universe.
Yeah, interstellar universe and into the whole Infinity Stone hunt, basically. I mean,
Yeah. Just
you knew with the Tesseract and everything
Mm-hmm.
from Captain America, from Thor, but you didn't really know what they were. So, yeah.
Let's talk for just a second about this Fury Road controversy. Did any of you people out there watch Mad Max Fury Road? The George Miller return to his baby, Mad
Yep.
Max. Fury Road was the best movie that came out in that year, 2016. What an amazing movie Mad Max Fury Road was, and everybody was screaming for a sequel. Well, that sequel might not be happening because of a lawsuit. George Miller had in his contract, if he came in under budget for the first Mad Max movie, Warner Brothers would give him a $7 million bonus. If he made his amazing opus under budget, well, he did. He made it like $300,000 under budget. Yay, George Miller, way to go. You made an amazing movie. So he delivered his under budget film. Warner Brothers then came back and said, yeah, we love the movie. Let's do some reshoots and make it even better. So George Miller's like, yeah, sure, man, you're going to pay for the reshoots? Let's do it. Well, those reshoots put him over budget.
Over budget. That's not fair.
So now Warner Brothers is saying, well, nope, sorry, your movie came in over budget because of the reshoots. We're not giving you your $7 million budget. And George Miller was like, fuck you, I delivered an under budget
Yeah.
film. Give me my money. So it kind of sucks because they're quibbling
Definitely
over
sucks.
$7 million, what could be a massive franchise. And Warner Brothers is struggling a little bit right now with their DC weird universe that they can't quite. They need a franchise, and
Yeah.
Mad Max Fury Road kicked
Was
off
it?
an amazing possible franchise, and so they're quibbling over $7 million that I think George Miller is owed.
Yeah.
In my
that's,
opinion.
That's ridiculous.
So George
Completely
Miller's
ridiculous.
he's suing Warner Brothers, and Warner Brothers is giving him the finger, and so that's that. Now they could bring on another director. They could bring on
They
some other really great directors.
Good, but which is probably what they're going to do. I mean, they're going to continue this franchise, but
Yeah.
it sucks.
So that's yeah. So that's kind of your movie news for the
well,
week,
before
people.
we wrap up movie news,
Oh, good.
one,
What do we
Andy
got?
says he agrees with me. Thanks, Andy.
Guardians?
On the Guardians of the Galaxy. And here's a random thought
Love
from
it.
Alejandro.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it, Alex.
He says, Chuck, how about our buddy Eddie Gathegi? He was Laurent in Twilight, blowing up on the big screen from Miss Dixon's class at Rock.
God, Miss Dixon's class? Jesus H. Christ. If I'm
you know he's a
remembering
movie
Miss
star?
Dixon, she was a science teacher? If I'm remembering. No, and actually, I don't. I did not know
Oh.
that.
Interesting.
Wow, way to go.
Alejandro, you have to tell us more about this.
Check it out. Hey,
Another-
guys, and just a reminder, we really appreciate you guys watching the live feed here. Go over to YouTube, go to Chuckload of Comics, hit that subscribe button. Join us here every single week. We talk about movies. We talk about the comic books that came out this week.
That's right.
It's a whole nerd week in review. Comics, movies, TV shows. Speaking of TV shows, a couple of shows you guys need to be watching. Show number 1, you need to be watching Legion Season 2.
Yes.
Amazing. If
And
you haven't
watch
watched
Legion season 1.
Watch Legion Season 1. If you haven't watched that, power that down. Legion Season 2, is just blowing my mind. It's so good. It's
Awesome.
almost better than the first season because it actually kind of has a point. It has a plot. You kind of know going into it. Okay,
Where they're going with
these
it.
are the beats they're going to take. It's just as weird. It's just as amazing. Check out Legion. You got some comments?
Just Christine remembers her. Edie?
Edie?
And Alejandro says yes, it's science class.
Yeah,
Him.
Miss Dixon. Shout out to you, Miss Dixon. Another show you guys got to be watching, man. If you have Netflix and you haven't started watching Lost in Space,
Oh, so good.
watch Lost in Space. I know a lot of you, like me, were like, Lost in Space. It's that movie, that crappy movie they made in the 90s. Not really digging it. The TV show for Lost in Space is so worth your time. It's
Yeah.
10 episodes. The production budget for this show is amazing. The special effects are great. The sets are great. The story's
stuff.
great. The characters are great.
Yep.
Well worth your time. It's maybe a little slow in the first 2 episodes, but man, it kicks in.
It's good.
Once Parker Posey makes her first appearance,
It's awesome.
one of the best villains.
Which is at the end of the first episode,
Yeah.
so
Parker
you gotta
Posey.
be hooked with Parker Posey.
Everything she does is gold, so check out
Aw.
Lost in Space on Netflix.
Jonathan De La Cruz.
Jonathan, you're in.
And he
Just-
says, I hate the kid in Lost in Space.
Oh no, you
You
hate
hate
Will
Will
Robinson?
Robinson?
Who hates Will Robinson? Well, he's always in danger, so
He is.
well, I think a lot of people probably hate Will Robinson. So check it out, man. Those are kind of the big shows that we're watching right now. Obviously, this season of Gotham is
Oh.
killing it. Killing it. It's about to wrap up. This season of The Flash, if you're not watching The Flash,
Flash is fun.
by far the best of the CW.
Yeah, for sure.
Comic book
CW,
shows.
Yeah,
Yeah.
CW
Yeah.
DC comic shows. Is
Yeah,
definitely
the
best, for
Berlanti
sure.
shows, watch The Flash. It's the best of the Berlanti universe.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Your old high school buddies are just kicking it over here.
Nice.
I mean, Alejandro says it's Eddie from Kenya by way of California. Does that ring a bell?
It does. It certainly does. I got it. I know exactly who you're talking about. Miss Dixon's class. You should have just said it.
He did say Mr.
I know. I'm just kidding. So that's pretty much all we got, guys. Just to kind of recap, obviously check out youtube.com/chuckloadofcomics. Click that subscribe button. Please pick up Action Comics number 1000. It's a huge celebration of Superman. I heard. Did you get a good
Aw,
comment?
it's just Alejandro said totally enjoyed the show, guys.
Thanks,
That's
man.
awesome.
Really
Thanks for
appreciate it.
watching.
Really, really appreciate it. Pick up Action Comics 1000. You will not be disappointed. It's a celebration of the Man of Steel. Kal-El is back, and it's just a series of short stories, so don't be intimidated by it. By
Yeah.
its 80-page. It's a thick, thick book.
Yep.
It's beautiful.
Don't need to
Everything in
know
this book's incredible.
Anything about anything. So
And that's what we got, guys. That's kind of our show for the week. We really appreciate you guys tuning in to the Facebook Live feed. I won't bombard you with ads next week. Now that you know it exists, come here every Saturday on
Yeah.
Facebook, watch the taping, and then please, on Sunday, we post the YouTube show live with all the graphics and all the music and all the fun. It's not just us on a green screen.
Christine. Well, first of all, Diane says she's gonna get ready to binge watch the new Gotham series.
Oh.
And Christine says, "Wait, don't stop yet. Show us Shauna's new tat live."
Shauna, if you can see it behind her
It's a little
microphone,
wrapped up. I don't know
Shauna
if
got
you can see
the,
it or not,
the
but I got my
Sanctum
awesome
Sanctorum with Doctor Strange in the front and a beautiful, beautiful
it?
Sanctum Sanctorum window.
Oh, I can't tell. There we go. Maybe that's better. Oh, thank you, Rafael Corona.
Done by Rafael Corona at Code of Conduct Tattoos.
Yeah, it looks bad on
Cool.
there,
Hey,
but-
Patrick's on.
Pat!
Pat, you're just in time for the end of the show.
And Jonathan says it's way better than Instagram Live, so.
Oh, thanks, John. This Facebook thing was actually Jonathan's
Yeah, it's
idea.
fun. Aw, thanks, Christine. She says it's fucking amazing.
Language. This is a kid's show, goddammit. Well, Pat, welcome to the show, man. We're just about to wrap things up. Diane Pierce, thanks for watching. Who else we got to
Yes.
thank? Christine
geez,
Nelson,
Christine,
thanks for being here. Alex,
Pat, Jonathan,
so good to talk to you.
Bobby,
Jonathan De La
Alejandro,
Cruz.
Diane, I said.
So many people.
Thanks,
guys. Thanks a lot.
Andy, of course. Yeah, Antonio Medina.
In the house. Lindsay Cole.
Bobby, Shelby, Michael McMurphy.
Glory.
Glory.
Glory, you probably already tuned out, man.
Too fun.
Anyway,
thanks, guys.
thanks for watching, guys. Please check out the YouTube show, Chuckload of Comics, youtube.com/Chuckload of Comics. Click the subscribe button. We do the show every single Sunday. We stream it live on Saturday, and all throughout the week we do a show called Nerd News.
Thanks saying.
where we just give you the headlines of the news. It happens every day, every time something cool drops, we throw it at you. So please subscribe and keep in touch with us. This was wonderful.
Fun.
So glad we had a chance to do this.
Absolutely.
We're gonna
See
say
you
goodbye.
Tallahasseians in a couple weeks.
See you Tallahasseians in about 4 or 5
3
weeks from
weeks.
now. 3 weeks, holy shit. And enjoy Infinity War. If you haven't gotten your ticket yet, what the fuck? You probably won't get one. So anyway, goodbye. Thanks for watching Chuckload of Comics. We'll see you here next week.